So this task is on sidewalk patterns. In Prague, which is in Czech Republic, beautiful city, some sidewalks, are you thinking, how do I know? When I was, what was it? 19. That was a long time ago when I was 19 years old. Sidewalks are made of small square blocks of stone. The blocks are different shades to make patterns that are in various sizes. So can you see the different patterns here? Pattern 1, 2, 3. So notice the corners and how the corners increase. And then the inside, notice how that also increases. So we have squares here. And this is a 3 by 3. Then it goes up to a 5 by 5. Then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? 7? 7 by 7. Can you then do the next patterning following this? So I really want you to press pause and try it, and then press play to see if it matches. So can you follow the pattern, see if you can do the next one. Try it. Do it in pencil, then you can erase it. I know you can do it. So I'm going to start with the corners. Make sure I didn't do enough here. 4. 4 by 4, 4 by 4. I'm just doing dots to try to make it a little bit quicker. Some people enjoy shading. So 4 by 4, 4 by 4, all there in the middle. And then what's this going to be across? Now if I did it correctly, this pattern of like 1, 2, 3, then 4 by 4, then notice how they're touching here. If I go across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I say increase by 3, 5, 7, should be 9, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They don't touch at 9. So I see 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the next pattern would be 4 by 4. I think that there's like this corner bit, I think I overshot here. So we went 4 by 4. I think we have too much graph paper here, and it's not going to fill in the whole thing. Fooled me. So a 4 by 4, and then you're going to count 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9. This is where the 4 by 4 should come in. Ignore the other corner. I'm going to just cross it out. Should have used a pencil. Did you make the same mistake I did? So ignore. And then all the way up here. Now all the way here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I did too high, didn't I? So it's 9 by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See what assumptions you make when you think the grid given is exactly what you need. Well, I am just going to make this work. If you have a pencil, it's 9 by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now I have like what I'm shading in the middle, 9 by 9. And then I have my corner. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4. And in this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4. Gee willikers, that's all I got to say. So ignore this part on the outside because I was just being silly. This part on the outside wasn't the pattern. So the pattern was right there, and I just assumed that the grid, in terms of what would happen, that I have to use up the whole grid. Bad assumption. Okay, so you see 4 by 4 on the corners and a 9 by 9 in the middle, and then the rest. So I'm going to draw a square around it so I can understand it as a pattern in Prague. Did I say it was a beautiful city? So there's my pattern of my 4x4, of my square pattern in terms of what the pattern would look like, and then the pattern would increase from there. All right, step 1 done. Step 2. Can we fill in this? So in number 2, it says how many of the blocks were white. So it already did that. How many of the blocks were gray? So if I think of how many of them were gray, I already said that we have, for this one, it's 2 by 2. So it's 4, and there's 4 corners. So 4, 4, 4, 4, that's 16. And then a 5 by 5 in the middle. So 16 and 25. That's 41, and then that's 81. So let's have a little structure to what we're going to do here. So it's the size 3. How am I going to figure out? I'm going to do the gray blocks. Actually, I'll do the total number of blocks first. So if we have 3 and 7 and 3, that is 13. So I went 3, 7, 3, 13. And 13 by 13, how many? Or 13 squared, that's going to come up. So 13 by 13 is 169. I think the gray blocks will be easier to look at first, or maybe the white ones. If I do one of the white ones, I can multiply it times 4. So that's 3 by 7. That's 21 times 4. That's 84. And then this has to be 85, so they add up to 169, or you could do it that way. So as soon as you know 2, you can find the other ones by subtracting. How about the one we just did, number 4? So this is 4, 9, and 4. That's 17. So 17 by 17, how many squares are there in total? 17 squared. That's 289. How many white ones? What's the size of the white rectangles? So they're 4 by 9. That's 36. And if you go 36 times 4, you get 144. So again, I just did one rectangle. I went 4 by 9, that's 36, and then 36, 36, 36, 36, or 36 times 4. That's where I got it. If I subtract these, I get 145. And now we have a table of values and a pattern to kind of look at. And so what do I notice? There's always one more gray block, isn't there? And then the total number of blocks, you can see these are perfect squares. We're dealing with squares. So what do you notice about the number of white blocks and the number of gray blocks? So I think I just said it. So there's always one more gray block. That's what I notice. Always one more gray block. The total number of blocks can be found by squaring the number of blocks along one side of the pattern. We saw that. So the first one side was 5. The next one, what was the length of the one side? You could square root this to remember. That's 9, so it's 9 squared. How much was one side for this one? It was 17, so it's 13, I mean. 13, and we square it. And then the last one was 17, and we square it. So now the question is, how many blocks will you need for the next one? So do you see a pattern here in terms of what number I should square? So 5, 9, 13, 17. Do you notice the base is going up by 4 each time? So the next base that you would look at is a base of what? If it's going up by 4, and then you would square it. So 21 times 21. So what equation could I use to help me out here? So I'm going to create an equation here. And x and for y. So x is going to be the pattern number. And then y is the number of blocks for that pattern. So if I go y equals, if I know the pattern number, how would I then figure out what's happening? So a few different things here. First of all, I know to find the total number of blocks, I am squaring something. I also notice that the base is going up by 4 each time. So that's a linear situation inside. So if I go 4n, it's going up by 4 every time I plug in a number. The problem is, if I plug in 1, I don't get a base of 5. So if I plug in 1, 4 times 1 is 4. What do I need to do with that base so it matches? I'm going to add 1 to that so it can match the base I need. So if I plug in 1, the base now is 5. If I plug in 2, the base now is 9. If I plug in 3, it's that, 13. And 4 gives me 17. So this equation then can give me the total number of blocks I need by the pattern number. So if you know the total number of blocks in a pattern, you can work out the number of white blocks in it. So explain how you would do that. So I want you to see that if you know the total number of blocks, how could you figure out the white blocks by seeing the pattern here? And if I look at the relationship here, could you see what you would do? So if I had 25, what would lead me to 12? And 81, what would lead me to 40? 169, what would lead? So what I notice is, what would happen if you subtracted 1 and then divided by 2? So what's 25 take away 1? And then what would you do? Divide by 2. Does that give me 12? Yep, 25 take away 1 is 24, divided by 2, and so on. We'll write it down algebraically. What's 81 take away 1? That's 80. Divided by 2? Same thing. So can you subtract 1 and then divide by 2? 168, divide by 2, it matches. So we have a pattern here we can follow. So how would you do it? So you would subtract 1, and divide by 2. Now how would you, so if x is the total number of blocks, y is the number of, was it white, right? White blocks. What would the equation look like? So if I knew the total number of blocks, what would you do again? So I said you would take the total number of blocks and subtract 1 to begin with. So the total number, subtract 1, and then once you get that answer, what would you do? Divide by 2. So now you have an equation where you could figure out, once you know the total number, that you could figure out how many white blocks there are. So pattern number 6 has 625 blocks. How many white blocks are needed then? Well, we already have an equation. So if the total number is 625, subtract 1 and divide by 2. That gives you 624, and that gives you 312. So the question is, how many white blocks are needed for pattern number 6? And you need 312 white blocks for pattern number 6. Awesome. Hey, you did your work. Thank you so much. This is Mr. G Math, over and out. Till next time, and again, I'm proud of you.